The White House says some progress has been made as ceasefire talks resume in Cairo for a second straight day. The talks are being mediated by the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar. And while progress has been made, there are still several key sticking points that need to be addressed, including Israel's military presence along Gaza's border with Egypt. Let's bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab, who is in Tel Aviv. Imtiaz, how are the ceasefire talks going?
Hey, Lindsay. Well, they're going, as we've heard from the White House. They are constructive and they are moving, but they are moving very slowly. Now, what is really being discussed right now is what's being described as a bridging proposal. So what's a bridging proposal? It is not what President Biden outlined back in May, which essentially was the framework, as he described it, as a ceasefire and hostage release deal. A deal that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has consistently said, at least in English, that he agrees to, although in the Hebrew press, he says very different things. Putting that aside for a moment, when we look at the bridging proposal, it's really to kind of fill in those gaps. And as you rightly point out, Lindsay, it's about Israel's presence in Gaza during a ceasefire. One of those places is what's known as the Philadelphi Corridor. What is the Philadelphi Corridor? It is this narrow strip of land which separates Egypt and it separates Gaza. Now, historically, Egypt has been in charge of the Philadelphia Corridor. It goes back to an agreement between Israel and Egypt dating back 40 years ago when they signed their peace accord. And since Israel's invasion of Rafah, the southern city of Gaza, it's pretty much been in charge of it. Now, Israel says the reason they need to be in the Philadelphia Corridor is because that is where smuggling from Egypt into Gaza happens, and they want to dismantle that tunnel network. Egypt, of course, not happy about that, saying that they don't want Israeli forces there. But we were hearing that they are making progress, and that is certainly good news, as many people, of course, hostage families, and of course, the people of Gaza are just so desperate for an agreement. But I have to say, it still feels a long way off. Lindsay.
Want to talk about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. We've been talking about the fears and the reality of disease spreading in the Gaza Strip. The first case of polio has been confirmed. How concerning is this, and what more do we know?
Yeah, it is very concerning. In fact, we actually know who the first patient, if you will, or the first person to have been diagnosed with polio, and that is a 10-month-old baby in Gaza who is now paralyzed from the left leg down. Polio, as we know, really affects children under the age of 5, causing, as we've been saying, things like paralysis. Now, this, of course, is incredibly alarming. Gaza has not had a recorded case of polio, in 25 years. Now, we do understand that aid agencies, including the UN, are working with Israel to try to figure out a mechanism to get vaccines into Gaza, polio vaccines into Gaza, some 43,000, which may not sound a lot, but 43,000 doses could potentially be 1 million doses. And when you consider there's 1 million children in Gaza, those doses are so desperately needed. Lindsay.
Sad to hear. Imtiaz Tyab, thank you.